For a while now, I've been wanting to set up a Jellyfin server. I've used Plex in the past, but never anything with Jellyfin, and I'm thinking about setting one up at my in-laws house and seeing if I can connect them to my NAS that has all of my footage and my media. So on this one, we're going to take a Raspberry Pi, install a CasaOS, and set up Jellyfin on it. Let's go ahead and get into it. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Havoc. Like I said in the intro, we're going to set up Jellyfin on a Raspberry Pi. Now, I want to give a big shout out to the people over at SANOOV who sent this along. It is a Raspberry Pi 16 gig kit, full starter kit, gets you up and going. When I reached out to them and talked about this project I wanted to do on the Raspberry Pi, they were all on board. So we're going to be using this kit for this project. Like I said, it is a Raspberry Pi 5. It's got 16 gigs of RAM on it. It's this, the highest kit. And this overall kit comes with a 64 gig micro SD card. Now, for this example, we'll be using that. I think in the future, I'll probably redo it, move it over to one of my daughter boards that has an NVMe slot on it. And that way I can put it in M.2 drive on it and make sure, all of my media server stuff is nice and stable. But this is a great kit. It comes with everything you need: the case, the board, the micro SD card, there's the SD card reader, screwdriver, active cooling fan. Big shout out to my friends over at SANOOV for sending this along. I'll put a link in the description below of where you can pick this kit up. Thank you again. Now let's get into the video. All right, everybody, you can do this project in a multitude of different ways. You can install just the Raspberry Pi OS, put Docker on it, and run your media server on that. There are a ton of other ways you can do it. But for this one, because I want to make this a multi-use little kind of home lab server, and I can even make it a travel home lab if I wanted to, or travel media server, we're going to install CasaOS on it. And the reason I want to do it that way is because it's going to utilize Docker in the back end, make it really easy for us to manage our applications, and even easier, the access to our media. So it has a really great kind of media file server built into it, and you don't have to set up a bunch of commands and, in the back end trying to connect to different devices, giving security, etc., to access anything in the local storage and media. So let's head over here to the website. We're going to go to casaos.zimaspace.com. You can search CasaOS. Also put it in the link in the description below. It is totally free. It's done by the people that have done like the Zima board and the Zima cube. And it's really only one command we need to run. And it's this curl command right here on the screen. So let's go ahead and copy that. And what we're going to do is we need to just paste that into our terminal software. So I named my Raspberry Pi Yondu. I name all my stuff after Marvel characters, and I'm logged into it. If you don't know how to install Raspberry Pi OS or how to access the terminal server on your device, I have some videos that you can go take a look on how to do all of that. So I'm not skipping over those. Those will just add a little too much that goes into this video. You can go back and take a look at those videos. So we are SSH'd in, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to right click. We'll paste that in there. Enter, and you can see it's going to go start installing CasaOS, doing it all for us. We're just going to sit here, and it should be a pretty quick install. It's got to download everything, go through the installation process, and then we're going to go ahead, and when it's done, it's going to tell us how to log in to our server. What it's going to do is provide the IP address and then the port number. We'll bring up a web browser and we'll go ahead and go to that, and that'll bring us up to the GUI interface for our CasaOS installation. So we'll let this finish. We'll go ahead and come on back. All right. So you can see here our installation is done, and it just says go to the IP address of your device. It gives you here, mine's 50.15, or if you have wireless LAN set up, mine's 50.169. So you literally just type that into your web browser, you enter, and it'll go to it. You can see there's some other stuff there on the screen if you want to go access their Discord server, view just a demo of it, or go over to their GitHub and give them a star. It's a great project. I highly suggest you do that. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up our web browser. We'll type in the address, hit enter, and here we are. We are now getting logged into CasaOS for the first time. So you'll hit go, you'll type in your username and your password, whatever you want it to be. So go ahead and type in that stuff now, and then hit create. And now it pops us into CasaOS. And what it is here is that, do you want to show the news feed from the CasaOS blog? You can do that if you want. It's up to you. I'm going to hit cancel there. And what I did end up doing is I did end up moving this over to a case that has a Raspberry Pi hat with a 2 TB NVMe drive on it. That's going to be a little extra storage here for my device. And you can see Portainer is already installed. That's part of CasaOS. We have an App Store and Files. If we go into Files, you can see in here, it automatically gives us app data, documents, downloads, gallery, and media. What we'll end up doing is we'll put stuff in media. It already has movies, music, and TV shows. Like I told you, it makes this really simple for us. There's a Files Drop feature. Let's go back to our root, or let's go to our data here. And then Files Drop at the bottom left, we click that, and then you can just drag and drop files there to add it to your device. We're not going to do that right now, but I just wanted to show you that it makes it really easy for us to get going. But what we want to do is we want to install Jellyfin. So we'll go into the App Store, and it gives you a ton of different options and stuff here. I've done AdGuard Home, which is a great installation on here, but you can see at the top we had Jellyfin automatically up there. I believe there's Plex as well if you wanted to, but I've done other videos on Plex. I just want to monkey around and try Jellyfin because I've never done it. So we'll go ahead and we'll just type in Jellyfin here. And you can see all the different options we have. We have Jellyfin personal media system. We have Jellyfin NVIDIA, GPU. So if you are installing this on a home lab that has an NVIDIA GPU, you'll want to do that installation because it'll do encoding and stuff. If you want to manage users in Jellyfin, install the JFA Go, Jellyseer, free open source software application for managing all of your stuff. But like I said, for this one, we're going to do just regular Jellyfin. Before I do that, you can see here, like this one, Jellyseer, is by Big Bear CasaOS. That is a community that does a lot of stuff on GitHub that has to do with CasaOS. If you go on the right over here, you can see under this dropdown, you have Store and Big Bear Tech World. So CasaOS automatically installs the storefront for Big Bear Tech World because they have a lot of scripts that you can work with. If there are other ones you want to do, you can just, you can click on just Store, go to More Apps or More, and it'll take you to this whole CasaOS store where you can add all these different storefronts from different people, different communities that have made just different program Docker installations for CasaOS. We're not going to do that. So let's go ahead and do Jellyfin, which is going to be right here. And literally all we do is we're just going to click install. We can do custom install if we wanted to. Let's see the options there. What this is going to do is allow us to change anything we want when it comes to that Docker container. Because what this is going to do is it's going to install this in a Docker container. And you can kind of think of this screen right here as a kind of dumbed down version of Portainer, just how we're looking at it. Like I said earlier, Portainer is installed, but we haven't opened it and set up a authentication for it. We're not gonna for this example, but you can change some stuff here, where it's going to get the icon, what you want the server to be called, what tags. So if you want the latest or the stable, you can change that there, your IP, your port, all of this stuff here. So there's so many different things you can change here, however you want it to set things up. What's great is it's automatically mapping that data/media program or file folder that was back in the file system to media here within the container. So that's automatically doing for us. We like that. I'm just gonna leave everything standard. I'll do install, and you can sit here and wait for it to go, or you can go ahead and click continue in background. As you can see, it's going really quick. It's done. That's literally all it took. So what we'll do here is we can click on Jellyfin. It'll open up in our browser, and we are now looking at a Jellyfin instance on our Raspberry Pi. That was really quick, and it would have been a lot quicker if I wasn't talking so much and explaining, but you can see how quickly you can get this going. So if you want to get this going with the wizard, we can go here. I'm going to do it because I've never done it before. So let's do it together. So I'm going to go English. We'll type in a username and our password. So go ahead and type all that in now and go next. It says at the bottom, you can add more users later from within the dashboard. So just make sure this is going to be your admin account. So type all that stuff in here and click next. And here we have set up your media libraries. So we're going to go ahead and click the plus there. Our content type will go movies. Display name will be movies. We need to add a folder, and we're going to go into media and then movies. And that is the directory structure within our Raspberry Pi. We'll click OK. We'll do, so we've got movies going here. Enable the library. We want to do that. Download language. We're going to do English. Country region. We'll do United States. Prefer embedded subtitles over file names. That's just how you want your subtitles set up. Real-time monitoring. Let's let's do that. I don't know how well that's going to work on a Raspberry Pi, because remember, it's not the greatest at encoding, but I think it should still work. I've done this in the past with Plex on a Raspberry Pi 4, and I didn't run into any issues because it was all just locally. It wasn't running over the network. So it actually worked pretty well in our travel trailer. Automatically add to collection, at least 2 movies, the same collection name, they will automatically add to collection. All right. Well, let's say, wait, when at least 2 movies have the same collection name. Okay, that's fine. Get your metadata from these 2, refresh the metadata from internet. So if you want to have your metadata scanned automatically, you can do that here every 30 days, 60 days, 90. I'm gonna go 30 days. IMDb image fetchers, those are also great. Save the artwork into the media folders. I don't ever gonna do anything with that. Trick play image extraction, chapter images. That's pretty cool. Well, we can click OK. So we have a movies. Let's go ahead and we're gonna add, let's do TV shows. And I'm gonna just do TV shows. We'll add our folder, media, TV shows. I'm just gonna do all that stuff, just okay. And then the last one we'll do is, there's like an other, we have movies, music, shows, books, maybe mixed movies and shows. They call it like other media in Plex, on Plex. So I'm just gonna do other. And then can we add a folder here? Cannot. But what we can do is we'll go back to CasaOS. So here's a little tip. We'll go into our files, we'll go into media, and then here we can do a new folder, and we'll call it other. We'll click submit. So now if we go back to our Jellyfin and we click the folders, media, now we have other. We'll click OK and OK. I'm not going to set up music, something I'm going to do right now. So other is going to be like any sort of like maybe YouTube videos you downloaded and you want to watch later, or I've had it where there were like a specific, I think it's like a WWE documentary that didn't know, like IMDb didn't know what to do with. Plex automatically put it in other. So I'm just going off how I'd done Plex, and do this however you want. Go next, and then preferred meta language, we'll call that next. Allow remote connection to the server. I'm going to allow that because I want to be able to connect to this via my Google Home Streamer, or my Google TV home streamer device. And then, that's local on the network. But then I might in the future, like I talked about, set something up where I want to, have some sort of like maybe a Tailscale VPN or something that'll allow my family members to remote in, via the app at their house and get the media off of this so they can watch too. I'm actually forward public ports in your router. We're not going to do this because I don't want it to monkey with the router. So this is up to you. If you want it to automatically forward, like port forward on your router, you can do that. I would advise not, because that's going to open up that port to everybody, or ports to everybody on the internet. And you don't want to do that. So like I said, I'm going to do something like Tailscale or something that will allow really easy access for family members to get on via a VPN, etc. in the future. So go next, and then we're done. Finish. So go ahead and type in your username and password that you typed in during the setup. Let's see what Use Quick Connect does. So enter error code, or enter the code 186665 to log in. So I bet what this is if you are connecting to this via like your TV, instead of having to, type in with like one button to get all your login information, one letter number at a time, you can type in just that code, whatever it gives you, and it'll probably log in on your TV. So you can see every time you click it, it gives you a new code. So go ahead and log in, click sign in, and come on back. And here we are in our Jellyfin server. We have nothing yet, but if we go over here on the left side, we can see we have movies, other, and TV shows, as well as we have it here on the screen. We have a dashboard, admin dashboard. We have metadata manager, our settings. What do we have in settings? Profile, quick connect, display, how you want things to display. There might be some stuff in here too about encoding. Back to settings, playback, probably in playback. Yeah. Here's some encoding stuff. The max audio channels, Google Cast streaming quality, that's nice. Maximum allowed transcoding resolution. So if you have it on auto and you're getting really choppy video, you want to come in here and like lower it to like maybe 1080p or 720p, because remember, this is a Raspberry Pi. It's not great at encoding video. Like I said, I haven't had issues in the past when it's just me running something on like Plex. Limit the maximum supported video resolution, so you can just limit off the bat whatever you want. So a whole bunch of awesome, great settings in there. Let's go back home. We have favorites up here. If you have a video that you're going to favorite, we can create a new group. Wondering what this is going to do. Leave, disable, sync, play. Oh, So you can create a group, it looks like, and somebody else that has access to your server can join your group and you can both watch a movie at the same time. So this could be cool for something like a Discord watch party with your viewers or like your community where you have this running, they get on, Jellyfin, and you're going to watch, the latest episode of Stranger Things, and you run it here and you're watching it here. They're watching it at home on their device. You're not streaming or anything. And then, you can talk in Discord or something, or, you're watching it. And then when you're done, you can all jump in Discord and talk about the episode. That's really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that group. We can go ahead and click the cast to a device. So you can cast this to, a Google Chrome device. We can search, and then we have our stuff here. When it comes to our settings, let's go in the admin dashboard. Whole lot of settings, a lot more stuff just loaded up for us. We can see our server version number, shut down, restart, scan our libraries, our active devices, shows that I'm logged in via Chrome, our activity, our paths to our data and stuff. But here's where you'll go ahead and create your extra users that you want to be able to log in. And what they'll do is it'll give them access to the content, but it won't give them admin access unless you specifically give them admin access, which you won't want to do. We can settings for our libraries, our playback settings. We talked about all of that. Let's resume. Minimum resume percentage. All right, that's cool. See our devices, our activity. We have live TV options. I don't have a tuner, but if you had a TV tuner, it looks like you can hook it up here into Jellyfin, and you can have your TV channels, data providers. If you're recording stuff off of live TV, you can use your Jellyfin as a DVR. And then I don't know how it would work, but maybe then it would put it into your TV shows or your other folder. So that'd be kind of cool to have that option. Networking API keys, if you need to do anything with the API, and then schedule some tasks here. Like if you want to probably schedule metadata update, refresh the people, scan your library. Scan your library, what that's going to do is when you add media to one of those folders, it won't automatically show up in Jellyfin. You have to first wait for the server to scan and find that media. So you can set that here where it says the last, however long, schedule your times every 12 hours, up to you. You can do other things here as well. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and copy a piece of media over, and we will see how it plays. Okay, so I downloaded a file called Big Buck Bunny. It's a video file I like to use when we're doing testing with encoding and stuff like this. And I'm not going to put it on here via a share in Windows. I want to go ahead and just do a file upload. So I'm going to go over here to CasaOS, and what we'll do is we'll go files, media, we'll go other. I'm just going to do upload files. We'll go ahead and upload, and you can see it's uploading here. That was quick. Close that. And then you can change the view if you want to do details or whatnot there, but go ahead and close that. We'll go back to Jellyfin. And if we go into other, we don't have anything yet because it hasn't scanned our library. So I think what we have to do is go into the settings. And if we go maybe to our admin dashboard, our libraries, and here's maybe where we can do it. We can hit scan all libraries if we want, or we can just scan other. Scan for new and updated files. We'll go and refresh. The queue refreshed, and let's see if it added that file. Now, here's the thing. Just because we put it in the other folder doesn't mean that's how Jellyfin is going to think that file is. It might put it in movies. It might put it in TV shows. It might not put it anywhere. Well, we're going to find out here. So I'll go back, go into other. We got nothing. Movies, we got nothing. TV shows, we got nothing. So what that tells me is it's probably not considered other. So if we go into our dashboard again, our libraries, and let's just scan all the libraries. Did it pretty quickly. We still got nothing. So I'm wondering if it's struggling with the type of the file type that is. So let me take a look at the file type, and we'll come back and take a look at it here. Okay. Figured a couple things out. First up, according to the Wikipedia documentation for Jellyfin, there's a certain type of library that they don't use anymore and it doesn't work. It literally says this library type is broken and deprecated. So we actually set our other folder to that. So let me show you real quick. We go into our dashboard, we'll go libraries, and let's go ahead and add a library. And you know how we did this mixed movies and shows? Well, that doesn't work anymore. I don't know why they still have it in here. Maybe the version that we installed is not the latest, but it doesn't work. So that was the first problem. The second problem was back in CasaOS, you know how we made that other folder and then we copied the file into other? Well, apparently Jellyfin does not recognize any folders named other. So it just skipped it. So what I did is I went into movies and I put our file in movies, and I went and I scanned our libraries. Now if we go home, we see we have our video. Let's go ahead and play it. And I'm going to go ahead and mute it just so we don't get any copyright strikes here. You can see we're moving along pretty decently. We don't have any stuttering, and I'm just playing this from my web browser. This is running off our Raspberry Pi 5. So far, the video looks pretty good. No issues with stuttering that I can see. The colors look great. This is the 1080p version. I think if we went 4K, we might see some stuttering with the transcoding. Let's see, what are our options down here? Settings, playback info. What's that going to show? There we go. So we can see some stuff there. This is a 1080p file. No drop frames, no corrupt frames. So yeah, this is working out really well off just the Raspberry Pi. A couple little pro tips for you. Don't make an other folder, and then don't use the mix movies and shows option for your library. You can see continue watching is now there. We have our movies. If we had anything in TV shows, it would show there. Something cool I found is that you can edit the image. So if you wanted a specific image for your movie folder, you can add it there. But if we go back here to our dashboard, we'll go libraries, and then let's just add a library. So these different types. So movies, you can't put a MP3 in there. It won't find the MP3 if you choose that content type. If you do music, well, if you put an MP4 in there, let's say it's like a music video, it's not going to find it. Because that folder type or that content type is only going to find MP3s and like FLAC files, etc. So you really got to pay attention to the type of folder you create when you go ahead and create your library. Let me show you real quick here on their documentation site. Let's go TV shows. You can see here it's MP4, MKVs, maybe some ISO files might work. Here's the file name structures to follow, and characters that can cause issues, and then their suggested organization. So you have your shows directory, and then you have the name of the shows and the year. So let's say it's Friends. You put the year Friends came out, right? And under that, season 1. And under season 1, you have all the files for each episode. And then you have a folder called, season 2, etc. You do it that way. And then you have your next show that's named, let's say, The Office, and then the year that came out, and like that. So you can still organize all of your stuff in like a directory structure, but I think I read it can only go maximum 4 deep, maybe 3 deep. So that's 1, that's 2. So that's 2 deep. So if you're running into issues, take a look at that. You might not be able to go more than 4 deep on your folder structures. But they do a really good job here of showing you that stuff. I didn't know about the file type or the library type, like we're talking about here. When I created that other folder, I had to come here, look at mixed movies and directories. So that was the first thing. And then I didn't know about the other folder being skipped until I saw on their GitHub there was an issue about it. It said something about it was going to be fixed like back in March, I think, of 2025, but it's still not working for me. Maybe, like I said, maybe this is kind of an older installation, just, default off of CasaOS. But yeah, everything works. That is Jellyfin, how you get it installed and copy a file over, get your stuff set up to watch your very first movie in Jellyfin installed via CasaOS on a Raspberry Pi 5. So I want to give a big shout out again and thank you to our partner SANOOV for sending over that Raspberry Pi 5 for us to create this video. Really do appreciate it. Again, I'll put a link in the description below of where you can pick that up. And if you have any questions and want to see more stuff on how to maybe customize your experience within Jellyfin, let me know in the comments. I think I'm going to mess around maybe some plugins or some other things that might make it look a little modern, I guess you could say. Not necessarily like Plex, but maybe a little bit more like Plex. I need to set it up to connect our Google streaming TV to it, but I think this might be a great option for my family because obviously Plex is not free if you want to get a Plex pass, and Jellyfin is 100% free. So until next time, stay safe, have fun, and keep doing good.